So hi out there in the YouTube world, it is me, the Puzzle Master, again, taking a little segue. I'm going to talk about Sagittarius eventually, but in this video, I want to talk about Hermeticism. Hermetics. What is that? Cue the crickets. Yeah, well, if you look it up, you're probably going to find, or if you ask most people, they're probably going to tell you that, like, it's the transmutation of metals. So, taking iron and turning it into gold with magic. Well, I'm sorry if I'm the first one to tell you this, but that's not what it is. I've read a lot. And, you can't see the vastness of the books because they're not in display in the background. But if they could be displayed, it would be the whole background, okay? Because I've read a lot on this subject. Not just astrology and Hermeticism, but ancient religions and things with jinn and spirits and the luminaries, like any ancient philosophical kind of book that I can get my hands on. Whenever I find one, I buy it. So I've acquired quite a collection. And I just kind of wanted to take some of that knowledge that I have and try to share it with you. Like, my moon is in Gemini and it's conjunct Mercury, so that's supposed to help me, bridge the borders between the camera and the other side. And, yeah, my point of that is, there's three main symbols in the Hermeticism, okay? So there's Mercury, okay, which, like I just mentioned, is the bridge between this world and the unseen world, which is where all of our data and information really truly comes from. Like, when people are, born savants or, geniuses, and they have all these, they already know of the world before they come into it, is because really, mind creates the matter. The way science and modern day philosophies go, it really teaches that, we arose from matter, from random bacteria and all that. And I don't believe that. I think that humans are sacred and that we're special. And that's what the whole point in Hermeticism is transmuting, we would, or I'll use myself as an example. I'd be iron, okay? Now, there's the three principles. There's Mercury, sulfur, and gold. Those are the three elements that they talk about a lot in ancient Hermeticism. And what I want to break these three components down in understanding what they truly are is it's not talking about Mercury the metal and sulfur the element and gold the metal. They're all elements. They're not talking about the elements. These ancient Hermetic terms were around a lot longer than our current understanding of the elements when it comes to chemistry. And they did not mean the same things. Yes, they have the same word. But that's just kind of where people get lost down the rabbit hole, is because things have the same word, they're well, it obviously meant that. And no, that's through disinformation and brainwashing that people are getting led astray. When really, if I'm going to break it down and tell you what they are. So, Mercury is the communication. It represents networks, the bridges, wires, things that are bridging borders, and communication, the transfer of information from one person to another and vice versa. And sulfur would represent us, it's the, give me a moment. Gold is what we are trying to attain, okay? And it's through Mercury that we will transmute ourselves, sulfur, which smell like rotten eggs, into something higher and more pure. And it's more about the mental constructs in our minds and transmuting those constructs into a more pure and higher state of consciousness, compared to, if you're unaware of these kind of subjects, then you can, as if you are aware of my astrology videos that I have on my channel, then you can't transmute your frequencies into the good if you're not even aware of the transmutations that can occur in your own sign. Every sign has a negative and positive element to it, which you, through your own like cultivations of experience and like due diligence, you can like help to bring those qualities out in yourself, or through doing the opposite and being a bad person, you can lead the complete opposite direction. And that's often where a lot of people will get confused with astrology, is when like you say one thing about a sign but then another thing, and they're like, well, that's the complete opposite of me. Well, that's because you are either like, you are having instilled in yourself the qualities that, like, well, let's use it as good, you know what I mean? Like there's good qualities for everyone. So if you have the bad qualities of some of them, that doesn't mean that they're not right when they only were describing the good. I think a really good astrologer should portray both sides, which I do try to do in my videos. I don't try to just say the positive or just say the negative. I like to try to encompass it all in one, unless I'm doing like a hate on video or like a what I like about video. I try to encompass it all, and that way the individuals can be fully aware of what kind of character traits they have in themselves. So you, when given you these tools, can look into and research your own psychological background via the frequencies instilled in you, and you can try to transmute those to be the gold. Because there's the Mercury, which is through the communication and bridging the borders between the realm of the seen and the unseen, and this happens through communication. And then you would represent the sulfur, which you're trying to transmute with Mercury to become gold, which is the sun, or like pure soul, which that is some of the explanation of what the true representations of what they really mean by Mercury, sulfur, and gold. Like, they aren't talking about the physical realm, okay? So I hope that I have helped to break that down for you, and let me know in the comments below what you think, and mwah, and I'll see you in my next video.